today is going to be an interesting video, ladies and gentlemen, because right here, as it stands right now, you're watching me through a Logitech webcam, a C920, and to add salt, it's the one that was created in the year 2012. That's what is shooting right now, and to compare it, I actually got a very nice interesting gadget on consultancy and testing for a certain channel called Mr. Man Style, and today that gadget is right here. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the was I going to say C70? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the EOS 250D or Rebel SL3 from Canon, and yeah, so I'm going to be actually switching up in terms of comparison between the two, so you guys can tell me which one you think is much better. So right now, in comparison with everything that's going on, I can already see that this is going to produce the best frame rates in terms of like recording and everything, movement and all that. There's a lot of motion blur over here because of the 30 FPS, and it's trying to upscale it to 60, and I can already tell you that there's so much that needs to be focused on. But the first thing, the first set that we're going to be taking a look at is the unboxing. And ladies and gentlemen, let's play this little game of chess, shall we? All right, it's time we did this video. I have a package over here. The EOS 250D has come home. Yeah, we're gonna be unboxing it. Like, yes, let's go. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Just tilt the camera like this, maybe. I got the box. All right, so I've never done a proper unboxing video, to be honest. Like, I think at this point I need to gear up for those kinds of things, but the reason why I'm doing this now is because there's a voucher here where you guys can see it. This cash voucher is provided in the above mentioned benefits. This voucher cannot be redeemed or exchanged for cash. T-shirts can only be redeemed if attending a physical Canon Academy workshop. Check and clean service can only be redeemed once. Attending Canon Academy session and registering your product can only be redeemed at Canon authorized service centers. Yeah, so in here there's a receipt, of course. Oh, by the way, this was well produced. This is my second name. I'm not gonna show you the receipt then. By the one and only Cameras Africa. I'll share the Instagram link in the description. They were kind enough to do this for me on this student's sale. For those of you guys who already know, I am a student indeed. Then we have the warranty card, which they've done already filled for me, so thank you for that, Cameras Africa. This is the one important purchase I made together with the camera itself. This is the SanDisk Extreme Pro 64GB SD card. Very expensive SD cards, but allows me to shoot in 4K, so worth it, definitely. I'll look into that later. Then there's the instruction manual for the Canon 250D. Then right, there is a power cable, which I do not have that kind. Then there's of course so there's the collab for Canon and Google, so I can do a direct shoot into my Google Drive, which is fantastic as well. And then I open up the box. As you may or may not see, it has a battery put aside. This is the camera, and this must be the lens. This is the battery charger, so I guess this is where the power cord, what the power cord is for, essentially. Yeah, so it goes in here. and the power cord connects, so that's fine. I wonder if it has charge already. So this must be the kit lens, the 18 to 55 millimeter kit lens by Canon. It's the EFS model. So let's actually take a look at it. Oh, it's great. It's magnificent. So had the cap. You can see autofocus, the autofocus pins and all. So I'm gonna put this aside, and then the glorious 250D. It's actually smaller than I thought it'd be. No, actually it's pretty much the same size. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful camera. Beautiful camera. Alright, so first things first, I'm gonna put this box aside. Oh, it comes also with a strap for that, so I'm gonna put that aside. And I put the box aside. Some of you may have never ever seen my desk before, so I'm gonna pop this open. As you can see, it is a DSLR, so you will be able to see the mirror definitely. Then I'm gonna put in the lens. So what usually happens is, well, you line it out with the square. So the square, because it's EFS, it lines out with the square. Now, something special I noticed about this camera, it has the EFS square over here, and then it has the EF dot. So I can use an EF or an EF lens. All right, so that's that. Then I'm gonna pop out this lens cap. All right, so that's that. It's already in, very well, nice, very ready for shooting. Now, immediately open the box. I mean, first of all, this camera had everything packaged and sent by a special choice store by the name of Cameras Africa. And right now, this is a free advertisement. They don't pay me to tell you that these guys actually did an amazing job. They're not paying me. They're not giving me anything to do whatever it is I'm doing right now. But what I can tell you is for sure these guys have done an amazing job in terms of delivery. They were very kind, very apt, and I got this in a sale, actually a student sale. For those guys who know who I am and what I actually do, I am a student, so I got this on a student deal that made this camera cost less than $500, and that's minus the SD card, of course. It came with the kit lens that's there, which is the 18 to 55 millimeter f4 lens, which upscales to f5.6. It's a stem lens. Then, of course, we have the camera itself, the 250D. In the box, you'll find the manual, the strap, the battery, which, by the way, is an amazing battery. It could go and shoot on for long periods of time, and I really think that this battery is an amazing battery. And I think also, with my experience with cameras, I've had experience in using the M50, the EOS RP, and this particular camera alongside the 80D. And from what I've actually gathered is that DSLR cameras actually have a longer battery life than mirrorless cameras. I don't know how that is, given that the mirrorless cameras are the latest and most stable current technology that there is right now, but these cameras actually last long in terms of battery life and in terms of how long you're going to be able to shoot, and also, you know, the capabilities are endless, I'd say. Now, for this particular camera, it shoots in 4K 30, 1080p 60, 1080p 30, and I think there needs to be there was a firmware update that allowed it to shoot in 1080p 24 and 25. There's some more stuff that I've been seeing other channels advertise, which I see of major importance because I've been in the videography kind of scene for quite some time, and I'm sure that 24 and 25p will be good for B-roll for those guys who are interested in that. It was in the previous version of this camera, which was I think the 200D or the Rebel SL2, and I've used that camera extensively as well, which was, it wasn't giving me the option of 4K like this one is in particular. And then another reason that I got this camera for Mr. Man's style is now this camera, you can actually plug in a HDMI to an external capture card, and on top of all that, you can actually now do beautiful capture of live streams without having the feed showing up. And that's a setting where you can remove or rather, it's actually one particular statement. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I think it's called clean HDMI. Yeah, clean HDMI. Clean HDMI is such an important thing for a camera to have when choosing a camera for live streaming, and that's why I went for this particular camera. So everything actually works well. I'm actually switching between the Logitech and this beautiful camera, this EOS 250D, and I mean, just for comparison of quality and everything else. Now, if I was to take this camera and put it side by side, lens to lens, to my webcam, I'd put it, let's say, let's actually put it here. And then let's actually see the comparison difference. So this is pretty much the same length. This is, of course, one thing to mention is that first of all, field of view is probably almost the same in terms of this. So 18 millimeters is where it's at right now, and this is a crop sensor, by the way, an APS-C for Canon, which is at a 1.6 multiplier on the zoom. So that would be 18 multiplied by 1.6, which is quite long, but it's not so bad. So I'm just gonna hold it there and just compare how they look side by side, and at the same length, actually just look at you guys and talk to you from here. So this one will still have it has image stabilization on, so now that I'm holding it, it's not looking like I'm shaking as such, but I am actually shaking a lot because it's actually putting a strain on my waist, my wrist at this moment. But this is how they look side by side. Very nice. And by the way, the settings that I'm using on the 250D are the shutter speed is 1/25th of a second, f4.0, of course. I'd like to have it as wide as possible, and the ISO is at 1600. There's no lights in my room, so that's why it's above 1000 right now. And this is like the main focus points of main focus lights, essentially. I want to get as much frame rate as possible so that I can, like, you know, actually compare to this. Now this Logitech webcam shoots at 1080p 30 no matter what you do. So the output is 1080p 30 and I'm recording at 1080p 60. So there's obviously some motion blur trying to cater for the missing frames, and that's a very huge downside to actually using a Logitech webcam. But I've used this camera for well over 3 years on my YouTube journeys, especially my gaming content, which you can go and check out in the cards above. That's King Steven Anoas, or Steve Nyanumba as it's called right now. Everything that I do aside from tech is going to be on that channel. So you guys better go, of course, subscribe, give me a follow, give me a like on any of the videos that you find interesting over there. And yeah, so this camera in a nutshell is a very light camera, if I'm being very honest. I mean, it's a very, very light camera. I thought it would be heavier and bigger when I saw it, like the first time when people were actually advertising it on the channel. I thought it'd be heavier than what it seems to be. But it's a DSLR camera and it's actually light, and I rarely see many DSLR cameras being this light. So everything just looks fantastic on this end, and I'm really appreciative of being able to obtain this camera at this particular time. I mean, 2021 has seen us lose a lot of tech stuff, and especially in the side of the PCs, because GPUs have just been on the skyrocket in terms of price. So I mean, to be able to actually obtain this at the price point that it was at this point in time is an amazing feeling. It's an amazing thing. So will I be retiring the Logitech? Not a chance, because first of all, it's a camera that we probably own in the house, yes, because it belongs to my brother, who owns the Mr. Man Style channel, but it's his and his alone, right? I'm not gonna be at the point where I'm always borrowing the camera or sharing the camera with him. Secondly, Tech Chess, right? Tech Chess is currently, or as it stands, a coding channel. So there's no point in me upgrading this or me changing this in terms of like, you know, I need to go for better quality for a talking head, yet I'm showing more of the screen most of the time. But if I was to go for an upgrade option, this would be definitely the best starter camera for anyone to buy. So in the market right now, it's at 64,000 Kenyan shillings, which is around $600 US. That's the camera with the kit lens minus the SD card, but the SD card that I got is this particular beautiful piece over here, which is the SanDisk. As you guys can see, it's a SanDisk Extreme Pro. I don't think you guys can be able to see that because of the shadows that are being casted over it, but it's an Extreme Pro, which records at 170 megabytes a second maximum. So that's insane write speeds, very insane write speeds, and on top of that, it enables me to shoot 4K because of those write speeds. So if those write speeds were not there, I wouldn't be able to shoot 4K. So yeah, that's the beauty about this particular camera right here and how it stands and stacks up right now. Fast forward to one day later, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to show you something very interesting. And this is something to do with the applications that come with this camera. I mean, they're very fantastic. This one is actually called Camera Connect by Canon. I got this off of the Play Store, very free of charge. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's an amazing app. Let me just actually show it to you on how it actually operates. So I've pressed this button just from where I am so that this video can hit record. It's actually really fantastic, not bad at all. I mean, let me just narrow this down to what I actually think about the camera. For a beginner, perfect. Everything has been well set, and I can actually use every single thing that there is to do with this camera very seamlessly. I mean, I can shoot B-roll. I mean, I'm gonna even show you some samples of some footage that I shot just the other time while I was, you know, while I shot myself in my room using my phone's live view, and I was even able to, you know, just come up with a way of, you know, manipulating the raw footage so that we can still get quality even after zooming. It's just an amazing feeling to use this camera for long periods of time. It's a beginner's perspective, and also learning how to, you know, learning how to set your camera. The settings are very well output, and for those guys who are still on that guided side of things, you can actually change your settings from the guided side to the standard side, which is actually way better, way better in terms of like how fast you're going to be moving around throughout the camera. And you know, it just has a general good feel, this camera, because it's small, it's compact, it's easy to use. The menu is touch, the screen is touch, so I can even do touch autofocus. I can do so many things, and then the zoom, very easy to use, very simple to use. Now I'm going to zoom in here so that you can actually get the beauty and the suspense of what I'm about to say here. you need to learn about photography, and that's a very huge step. You need to learn about the tools that make cameras as good as they actually are. It's not as simple as pointing a camcorder and just recording. No, you have to learn about the three basic key tools that actually come with the camera, and that is the aperture settings, the shutter speed, and of course the ISO, which most people have actually seen ISO on the non-detachable lens cameras, their camcorders, everything. And most of the time the ISO is usually set to auto. Manual shooting enables you to shoot a continuous stream of video, regardless of how the background occurs or how it plays around. You're still going to have a constant stream of audio and video. It's regardless on the environment. So that's what I like, especially because I'm going to be keeping my environment constant. I don't want it to start playing with the white balance, start playing around with the shutter speed, aperture. If I dim this, I don't want it to now dim to raise the ISO automatically. If I dim this, I don't want it to lower the ISO automatically. I just want it to be kept at the same base as it usually is. For my video settings, for those guys who might be wondering, today I shot everything that you've seen over here through the DSLR with a shutter speed of 1/125th of a second, 1/125, for those guys who are wondering what I'm saying. Then the aperture is as high as possible. With this kit lens, it goes all the way till f4, but if I zoom in all the way till 55 millimeters, then it will go all the way till 5.6. So it keeps on increasing the more that you increase the focal length. Then furthermore, I set the ISO to 3200. Could have used it at 1600, then lowered the shutter speed. But I just decided, you know what, because I'm shooting at 60 frames per second at 1080p, I'm going to double that in terms of the number that's at the denominator of the shutter speed. So because it's 60 FPS, I go for 120, and 125 was the closest setting to that. So now that I've said that, should you be getting this camera? Definitely. If you're a beginner and you want to get into proper professional shooting, this is the camera to start with, I'd say, in this year especially. Maybe the 250D, maybe the 800D, sorry, but this particular camera, I went for it because it's compact, it's nice, and the battery life is amazing. I'm going to emphasize on that. The battery life is amazing. I mean, I've charged it to full in the morning, and I've been testing out shoots, doing b-roll, shooting. I've actually even done shots of a particular artist that's coming up real soon. I'm not going to disclose who it is, but I'm going to show you guys a lot of things to do with photography on this channel, because it's also a part of tech. And if you guys also find that interesting, more reason to hit that red subscribe button, and of course turn on post notifications if you do. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, this game of chess is being called to checkmate, and I'm gonna say that abruptly. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Tutorials are coming on pretty soon, so stay tuned for that, for those guys who are interested. And yeah, adios. I'll see you guys later. Bye.